Namaskaram to all the PGuru audience. As I always mention, it is a delight to speak to PGuru audience because they are very erudite and some of their comments are very, very useful. Now, first we will take up the issue of this Supreme Court deciding regarding the release of the convicted murderer of Rajiv Gandhi and 9 plus 9, 18 people, 9 police personnel, civilians, including a child. Let us be very clear, he is a convicted murderer. And the Supreme Court has not exonerated him from the crime or anything. It has only let him out based on his plea, and we will come to that. And the turf war between cabinet, governor, court, and other thing, which people have lost sight that he is a convicted murderer. Argument some people give very stupidly that he didn't know he supplied battery and all that is crap. The investigating team has clearly found that he participated in the rehearsal for the killing of Rajiv Gandhi. Rehearsal was done against when VP Singh was conducting a public meeting. The same team went there, Danu and others, and then and this man was also, Perarivalan was also there. So it is not that he was not aware or anything. He was a completely involved person in the crime of assassination, and due to that, it was taken cognizance. He was convicted. Not only that, after his release, the very unfortunate, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu hugged him and felicitated him. I think it is totally uncalled for because Mr. Stalin is not just the head of the DMK, he is head of the state government of Tamil Nadu. I think you should remember that. As a chief minister, he has got significant amount of responsibilities, constitutional duties, and to hug a convicted murderer is not a very desirable thing. Now, why this has happened? This has happened because of the ego turf war between several agencies. That he did commit the crime, or and others also who committed the crime is not in doubt. That has been established beyond doubt, and they were all given the sentence. They were to be hanged, and that was remission was made based upon representation and other thing. This whole battle started with the mercy petition. Fatima Bibi was the then in charge governor. She rejected it. Then it went to the center, and at that time the two bachelors, as I call them, this our friend Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Kalam, they kept quiet on that completely. I would rather call it as benign neglect, which is one of the serious issues in India actually. This benign neglect, inaction. They didn't take any. One reason given by some people is that this 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙬, who is sort of sympathetic or not sympathetic, who is a very much involved person in the LTTE crimes. Let's be very clear, LTTE is a banned terrorist organization in India and in many other countries. Let's not mince words about it. And he seems to be, the 𝙒𝙧𝙤𝙬 seems to be in the good books of Vajpayee. And so there has been a silence. That is one set of theory. Other is Karunanidhi also played a role in not taking any decision. Anyhow, not taking any decision is very common in our country, but it is a total determinant to the issue of punishing the culprit and getting the due process in charge. Then after that, in 2011, Pratibha Patel rejected the thing, but it was considered to be too late. Then they appealed again to the court, telling that so many years later this has been decided, another thing. And the court, in its wisdom, quote unquote, in its wisdom, took it upon themselves. Then anyhow, so the ball was between the governor, the president, the cabinet of center and state, and the court. So it became, it was no more a question of assassinating the ex-prime minister along with 18 others. That was not the issue anymore. Who is to take decision? Who is authority is final? This became the issue. This is something very peculiar in India. Like in the times where people say that somebody got murdered, that fellow went and complained, and jurisdictional police station is different. That type of thing. So we are greatest nitpickers in the world. Nobody else can beat us in nitpicking. If you say he's a murderer, he will say, no, 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 that he is in the, you have not spelt it correctly. You have spelt it hurriedly. So you have to redo the whole thing. You have to submit an application in 8 copies in order to establish that, very simply, they should have been hanged. Let me make it very, very clear. All of them should have been hanged. Assassinating an ex-prime minister of the country along with 18 other innocent people is the greatest crime one can commit in this country. And they are felicitated. One of the constable, unfortunately, that lady is still having bullets in her chest, and she asked a very pertinent question in a discussion. Are they freedom fighters? Why everybody is talking about them? In Tamil Nadu, more people know about this gentleman and his mother and other thing than the 18 who were killed. This is something, perversion of the highest order of politics. And the Supreme Court has done the greatest damage by making this decision. Let me tell this, the date May 17th or 18th, whenever they did the decision correct, it came in the papers later. That will be the mourning day for the Indian democracy, Indian systems, and Indian structures. The Supreme Court has done the last nail on the coffin of the structure of our system. Now, based on this, so many others will also. And the court said the cabinet decision is final. Then why have governor? Sack them all. Why have President of India? Sack him. A cabinet can decide anything because the elected representatives are increasingly not considered to be civil anymore in this country. Many of the elected representatives have criminal cases against them. 40% of our MPs are having criminal cases. So is the case with the assembly. If a cabinet, for instance, tomorrow decides that Uttar Pradesh belongs to Pakistan, and then Tamil Nadu belongs to independent, and passes a resolution and sends it to governor, it is binding on him to accept it. I think we are entering into the totally rubbish area of arguments. The position of president and governor is to see that this type of misdemeanors are not carried. He returns it to the assembly, and once more it is sent, it is kept in abeyance. For instance, if I recall correctly, Rajiv Gandhi wanted to pass a postal and information bill. It was sent to 𝗤𝙧𝙤𝘀. He kept it. He didn't go through. He didn't pass it at all because the type of the bill was to punish people who are propagating and who are telling and who are broadcasting and other thing. He didn't accept it. See, this is something very important. The role of governor and Rashtrapati is like a saucer. When you have a hot tea given in a cup and saucer, many a time people tend to pour it on the saucer and it gets cooled a little. And then after that they drink it. So the saucer role is to be understood properly. And I think if the cabinet is the ultimate authority, I do not know where we are going to end in this whole situation. So the releasing convicted criminal is a crime, according to me. Second is felicitating him is a double crime. Third is more people talking about it. More people are not worried about those child and other innocent people who were killed along with Rajiv Gandhi, and also Rajiv Gandhi himself. Some people say his wife told, what is this? Are we in Saudi Arabia or what? The relative of the killed person can collect blood money and then request the killer to be exonerated. We are not. Let us be 100% clear. The case was between the state and the terrorist. Case is not between Sonia Rahul and the terrorist. So there is we have become, according to me, we have become totally perverts, and we have become totally senile, mentally imbalanced group of people in terms of discussing these type of attitude. And I am extraordinarily sorry to tell the Supreme Court has not lived up to its image and challenge. What is legally correct, that section 142 with the, is not necessarily morally, ethically, and socially, politically correct. Indira Gandhi imposed emergency, many of us recall. Technically she was not at fault, because there is a provision in the constitution then wherein one can impose emergency. She did that, but she was morally bankrupt, ethically zero, politically she was shown her place. So there is a, I think the court have to be very, very clear that technical law is not the ultimate thing. What is the implication of it to larger society? I think I always used to think that they require lessons in economics and finance. But now I am increasingly feeling they also require lessons in politics and society. The day in which this was declared by the AC and he was released is the saddest day in the history of India's crime and punishment scene. Thank you very much.